Okay, in this lecture we're going to talk all about saving your work. And here we are in our good old kitchen remodeling cost worksheet. And we're going to save this. And we've already talked about the basics of saving to a specific location on your computer. And I'll go through that again real quickly. But we're also going to get into saving as a CSV file or a comma separated values file, saving as a text file, and saving as a PDF. So first, let's just go over the basics of saving again. This has already been saved, so you can see that whenever you can see a title up here that doesn't say like book 1 or book 2, then you know it's been named and saved. But if we were to go in and do a little change, we'll just put some text right here. Then you'll notice that changes from saved to now saying Excel. And if we want to save it, then we can just go click the Save button. Notice now it says saved again. Or you can also click Control S and that'll save it. And thirdly, you can go to the File menu and click Save right here. And that just saved it and brought it back to the main screen. Okay, so that's the basics of saving. If I wanted to save this as another workbook, for instance, let's say I wanted to have one version of this that was nice and clean like this, and I wanted to have another version down here that had a bunch of notes, and we could just type whatever we wanted in there. I've already got this version saved as the Kitchen Remodel Worksheet download, but I could take this version and I could save it as. So I'd go to File and Save As. And now I can rename this, or I can say, Kitchen Remodel Worksheet download with notes. And we'd want to save this as an Excel workbook with the XLSX file extension. So we'd select that, then we can click Save. So now this is saved as a new file, and you'll notice if I go to File and Open, when I go to my Recent tab, you'll see that I now have the version with the notes. This one's a text file that you can ignore. And then this is the original Excel file there. So they're saved as two different things. Okay, so let's get a little further into this. I'm going to close this Excel file. I'm going to go back into File and Open. And you'll notice that if I go back into the original document here, it's not going to show those notes on there. See? So now I have two completely separate Excel workbooks, one with the notes and one without. And of course you have to be careful doing that, because if I went in and made changes to any of my numbers here, they're not going to automatically update on the other version with the notes. But I just wanted you to know how to save something as a separate file if you need to separate it out or go in a different direction with your document. Okay, so let's talk more about saving as. Let's turn this into a CSV file, a comma separated values file. And the purpose of CSV files is to be able to share or export your data in your table with other programs. For instance, if you wanted to bring it into a database software like Access, a CSV file would be a good way to do it. So the way you save this as a CSV file is you go to File, go to Save As, and then we go to our drop down here. These are our file types. And we click drop down. And you'll notice all kinds of things in here. And I'm going to talk about a couple of these. So you can see there are several that say CSV. This one says CSV UTF-8. This one says CSV comma delimited. And by the way, this is the one we're going to use. This one's CSV Macintosh, and this one's CSV MS-DOS. So this is if you're saving specifically for a Mac system. And this one is used mostly if you are saving a document that has international characters on it, because it will do a better job of preserving them. But generally speaking, for most uses, you're going to use the CSV comma delimited file. So you go ahead and select that. And then I'm just going to add an extension on this. This says 1, so I don't confuse it with my other documents. And then I'm going to click Save. And now we have it saved as a CSV file. And I'll show you what that looks like. we'll just navigate to that and open it. And there it is. So you can see our headers here are all separated by 1 comma. And that's why they're broken up into separate columns. You can see our materials is all here, and then there's a comma, and then there's the quantity, and then a comma, and then the price, and then a comma, and then the total. And that breaks that up into columns as well. You can see we have a couple of extra commas here at the end, which means that I have a couple of active columns here, which you could get rid of that. We could delete those columns, or we could delete the commas out of here, but that's not a big deal. But you can see all of these rows are separated into columns by the commas. And then we could use this file to import into, like I said, a different Excel spreadsheet, an Access database, or all kinds of other software. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. That's a CSV file. Now let's create a text file. We go to Save As again. Click on our file extensions again. And here's a text file, and you notice it says tab delimited. So a CSV is comma delimited. Text file is tab delimited. So we'll go ahead and save one of these. We'll call it the same thing. And then I'm going to open that one up as well, so you can see what it looks like. And you see this, so it shows text document. Okay, now we have the same information, but it's formatted differently. You can see there's a tab between each of the columns. So it has cabinet handles per unit, and then a tab, and then the quantity, and then a tab, and then the cost, and then a tab, and then the total. And they're all broken up like that, and each of those tabs is the separator or the delimiter to tell the software where to put a column break. So we'll close that again, and I'll even show you if I was to import that into this new sheet here. We go to Data, go from Text or CSV, we navigate to it. There's our text document, and you could do the same thing with our comma separated one, but you'll notice on our delimiter, Excel has recognized that there are tabs between all of the items, between all of the columns, and it's gone ahead and put that in there. If this was a comma separated file, it would have recognized that as well, and it would have selected comma. But you'll notice if we pick the wrong thing, like for instance if we click on space, then it makes a real mess of things and it organizes it really strange. Or if we click on equal sign, which there probably aren't any of, then it just mashes everything together. So those delimiters are really important for helping your worksheets to transfer over in the format that you want them to. Okay? And if we were to load this, we could just click load, and it'll pop it in there, and it's going to format it as a table. But you'll see how it brought it in, and it put our main title up top, and it put our subtitles here, and then it put all of our other information right into a table, just how we'd like it. Now typically you wouldn't bring a text or a CSV file that was created in Excel into Excel. This would be used for bringing this file into Access or another database software or another program. Because you'll notice if you do this with Excel, and we go into here, you see up here all of our formulas have been erased because the text file only recognizes the text. And whereas on our original, click on these are all formulas, right? So that's something to just keep in mind. And then finally I want to show you how to save it as a PDF. So we go to File again. And in older versions you could go to Save As and click the drop down, and it would say Save As PDF somewhere in here, similar to with Microsoft Word. But now you have to go to Export and create PDF/XPS document. So you go ahead and click there. Now it brings up your Save As. Well, technically it's called Publish As, but this is basically your Save As dialog box. And you can see that it's selected PDF as your file type. And there are a couple of things to look at. You can open the file after publishing. If you don't want to, then you can just deselect that. And then you can optimize it for either standard publishing online and printing or a smaller size, which is just for publishing online. If you were using this like on a website that people were downloading and you wanted it to download faster or take up less space, then you would select that. Generally speaking though, you can go with standard. And then you do have some options here. You can publish all the pages or you can do a range of pages. You can do the entire workbook or just the active sheets. So that's basically all there is to that. Click OK and go click Publish. And now that's going to go ahead and pop it open in a PDF viewer. And that automatically opened it up in Chrome for me because that's how I view PDFs. And you can see now we have a nice PDF image of our spreadsheet. And as you probably know, with a PDF, you can't modify anything on here. See, I can highlight these, but if I try and type over it or anything, it's all locked. But the beauty of PDFs is that even if someone that you're sending this information to does not have Excel, they can still open your table. They can still access the information that you want to send them. So you could send them charts or spreadsheets or whatever. There are free PDF viewers. As I just mentioned, I use the regular Chrome browser. You can open PDFs right in Chrome. So saving your document as a PDF is a little more accessible way to share your data. Okay, so in this lecture we've covered basic saving of your document, how to do a Save As to create a duplicate of your document, how to save it as a CSV or a comma separated value file, how to save it as a text file with a tab delimiter, and finally how to publish your worksheet as a PDF.